Hello friends, welcome to the lecture series on computer communication networks. In this particular video series, we'll consider the concepts from module 3, that is wireless LANs. So in the first part of wireless LANs, we'll consider the introduction. Myself, Abhilash KJ, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, will guide you guys through the session. So coming to the contents, first we'll consider the architectural comparison of wired Ethernet as well as or wired local area networks and wireless local area networks in terms of medium, hosts, isolated LANs and moving between the environments. So in the second part, we'll consider the characteristics that makes wireless local area networks different from wired local area networks. So finally, we'll consider the access control mechanism that is used in wireless local area networks and how it is different from the wired Ethernet or wired local area networks. So coming to the background of wireless local area networks. Wireless communication is one of the most happening as well as the fast growing technologies in day-to-day life with the invent of the wireless devices. So there is a need for the devices which can connect among themselves without making any cables, that is increasing day by day over the years exponentially. So the prime examples of wireless LAN could be considered with the public places where Wi-Fi is installed, in the college campuses, in the office buildings, in many public areas wherein Wi-Fi is installed. Wi-Fi is one wireless local area network that is predominantly applied in day-to-day life. So we have to understand what is the difference between wired LAN as well as a wireless LAN. So we'll consider the same distinguishing between each of that subsequently. So in this video lecture series, we shall cover the two types of wireless LANs. First one is the wireless LAN defined by the IEEE standard, that is IEEE 802.11 project. Sometimes it is called as wireless Ethernet or Wi-Fi. And second one is personal wireless LAN, which is the very famous and popular technologies for short distance that is used, called as Bluetooth. Sometimes it is referred as personal area network. So coming to the architectural comparison, as we have already mentioned, the major differences between the wired LAN and wireless LAN is in terms of the architectural implementation. So we'll consider each of the factors, the predominant factors which distinguishes between the wireless as well as wired LANs. So in that, one of the prime characteristics is the medium. So coming to the medium, in wired LAN, as we have already considered, we make use of an physical medium to connect two end devices. So that might be in terms of wires or in terms of cables. But in wireless LAN, the medium that connects the hosts or the stations is air. The second, here we have observed in wired LAN, when we started the first versions or the standard Ethernet had multi-point scenario or the broadcast scenario, but as the evaluation occurred, so the transition took from the multiple access to the point-to-point access with the use of link layer switches or the hubs by making use of the star topology in order to support the higher bandwidth rates. But when it comes to the wireless LAN, here the medium we are making use is air, which is the general broadcast medium. Because of that, the medium is shared by the multiple users, those who have access to it. Thus, the signal here is generally a broadcast signal. Thus, there is very rare chances of having a point-to-point connection in this. Thus, you can have only the multi-point or broadcast scenario. So here, generally broadcast means there is a possibility of having an implementing a wireless LAN with point-to-point connections, but with the increased bandwidth as well as by making use of directional antennas. So in wired LAN, by making use of link layer switch, the communication between the station as well as the link layer switch was a point-to-point connection. At the same time, it was full duplex or bidirectional communication transmission that was happening. That means the simultaneously the station can send as well as it can receive. But when it comes to wireless LAN, since air is a shared medium, here one cannot have the point-to-point connections, or he cannot have the full duplex connection at major conditions. So as I have already quoted, there is very rare situation wherein one can have point-to-point connection in wireless LAN. That is when two wireless hosts or the stations are making use of a limited bandwidth, as well as when they are using directional antennas, it is possible to establish the point-to-point connection in the wireless LAN. Apart from that, in wireless LAN, the medium is generally a broadcast medium. And the second comparison, the parameter we take for the architectural comparison is in terms of hosts. So in wired LAN, it is generally all the hosts are fixed at one particular, are fixed with one fixed link layer address, that is that will be there in the network interface card, that is NIC. But they can move from one point to another point in the internet. But in this case, the link layer address that is there in the NIC remains the same, but its network address, that is IP address, will change. But at the same time, the host can make use of services that is provided in the internet, as only requirement is that it should be physically connected to the internet. But when it comes to wireless LAN, the host does not has a physical connection to the network. Thus, it gives freedom for a host to move freely across the network and at the same time use the services provided by the network. Here, the mobility that is defined in wired LAN as well as a wireless LAN has completely different meanings, or it has to deal with the different issues. When it comes to wired LAN, as I've already quoted, in wired LAN, the stations can move from one point to the another point, but their physical layer address will not change. The same is true with respect to wireless LANs also. But they, in the wired LAN, they have a limitations of, since they are physically connected to the internet, they have limitations on where they can go. But when it comes to wireless LAN, they are free to roam inside the network coverage area of that particular wireless LAN, as they are not physically connected to the network. So the third parameter we consider is the isolated LANs. So the concept of isolated LANs in terms of wireless LAN as well as a wired LAN is different. So when it comes to wired LAN, so the isolated term here means that within a big campus or within a bigger network, you can have separate isolated networks, and you can establish the connection among themselves. So, but when it comes to wired LAN, they have to be connected by making use of a link layer switch. But when it comes to wireless LAN, so isolated LAN concept in wireless is called as ad hoc networks, which is an wireless LAN terminology in which the hosts are free to communicate with each others. So there is no established structure or infrastructure that is present. Thus, it gives a freedom for each individual host to communicate among themselves without aid of any central administration. So we'll consider an example in this particular situation. So I have considered 4 different hosts. They are connected by making use of a link layer switch in a wired LAN. So they are physically connected to the link layer switch. So this is an isolated wired LAN example. So, but when it comes to wireless LAN, so each individual hosts here are equipped with the wireless network interface card, so which has wireless capability. So they communicate among themselves without making use of any of the link layer switches, that is affixed infrastructures. So coming to the next criterion which we consider is the connection to the other networks. So here the term the connection to the other network means whether it is wired LAN or the wireless LAN is a local area network. When I want to connect to somebody else outside my network, then there is a need of the infrastructure which will provide me that particular facility of the communication. So in wired LAN, the can be connected to any other network or to internetwork, which is called as internet, by making use of a router. Here we have to remember the connection from router is to the link layer switch, or the host is directly connected to the router through a physical connection. But when it comes to wireless LAN, it can be connected to either a wired infrastructure or to a wireless infrastructure or to another wireless local area network. So here wired infrastructure means it could be a LAN, once again a wired LAN, or it could be to the wireless infrastructure in terms of the global networks, that is in terms of cellular networks, and or it could be connected to another wireless LAN nearby. So we take an example in this case. As we can clearly see, we have 4 different hosts which are connected to the switch. This is an isolated wired LAN scenario. If I want to connect this network to some other network, I have to connect through a router, which will enable the communication between the link layer inner network as well as the outer network. So that will establish the connection to the some other wired internet. So in wireless situation, so hosts with wireless network interface cards, that is wireless capability, are connected to the access point. From the access point, they have a wired connection to the router. From there, the infrastructure connection will happen. So when we make use of the term here, the multiple possibilities are possible. That is, a wireless LAN could be connected to the wired infrastructure directly, or it could be connected to the wireless infrastructure separately, or it could be connected to another wireless LAN. So we have considered the first situation here, that is when the wireless LAN is connected to the wired infrastructure in this particular scenario. It is usually implemented by making use of access point. But we have to note that here the responsibility of access point here is completely different from the link layers which we have considered in wired LAN. So an access point acts as an interface between 2 different environments. Either one is wired and other one is wireless. So the communication between the access point as well as the wireless host in this particular situation happens as we can clearly see here. The communication between an host as well as the access point is happening through the wireless medium. There is no physical connection between an access point as well as a host in terms of cables or wires. But the communication between the access point and the infrastructure or the router is by making use of the wired medium in this particular example. So the last parameter we consider for architectural comparison is between moving between the environments. So both wired LAN as well as wireless LAN operates, as we have already discussed, operates only in the lower two layers of the TCP/IP model, that is of the data link layer as well as the IP layer. That means if we have a wired LAN in a building that is connected by making use of a router or a modem and it is connected to internet, in that particular situation, if we want to move from wired environment to wireless environment, all we need to do is replace the wired network interface cards by the network interface cards that are designed for wireless environments. That is only what we need to do, and at the same time replace the link layer switch by making use of the access points. So when we do this, what we have to note is, even though link layer addresses are fixed, it will vary when the type of the network interface cards we are making use of. If we are making use of wired network interface card, it will have the different link layer address. If we are making use of wireless network interface card, it will have a different link layer address. Once again, those link layer addresses are fixed for a device it has which has both the capabilities, that is in terms of wired ethernet as well as wireless ethernet. Wired ethernet will have a separate link layer address, and wireless LAN will have a separate link layer address, and it will be constant. But at the same time, the network address, this will change, but inside the network, when I make a transition from wired network to wired environment to the wireless environment, the IP address will not change. That is, the network layer address will not change. It will remain the same. We have already considered the characteristics of wired LANs. So before proceeding to the wireless LAN, we have to understand what are the different characteristics that makes it different from the wired LANs. So many of the concepts and characteristics we considered in wired LANs will not apply to the wireless LAN and vice versa. So we consider some of such parameters. The first parameter is attenuation. So as we are making use of shared wireless broadcast medium, here the communication has to happen by making use of electromagnetic waves. So the prominent characteristics of electromagnetic waves or the electromagnetic signals is in terms of its strength and the distance relationship. As we all know, the strength of the signals is inversely proportional to the distance, and at the same time, since we are making use of a broadcast medium, the communication is not happening in one particular direction, but it is happening in all directions. So because of that, the strength of the electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic signals will decrease rapidly. And the second point is that the situation becomes worse because the wireless devices we are speaking of are mobile in nature. Because of that, they will be having a limited power supply with them. So when they are operating on the limited power supply batteries, so that strength that will directly have an impact on the strength of the electromagnetic signals. So the second parameter we consider here is interference. As the hosts or the stations are operating in the wireless medium, one receiver may receive the signals from the multiple senders, even though it is not the intended destination. So thus, other senders, or if they are making use of the same frequency band, along with the signals I am receiving from the intended sender, I'll receive the signals from unintended senders also. So this particular situation is called as interference, which makes it challenging compared to the wired LANs. So the third parameter is the multipath propagation. The absence of the point-to-point link in this particular scenario in wireless LAN, the communication happens between a sender and receiver. The receiver may receive the multiple copies of the information signals, as there are two modes of communication that may happen. One is the direct path communication and the reflected path communication. Because of this particular two-way propagation model, two-way ground model, because of this factor, the receiver may receive multiple copies of the same signal. And the reflected here direct path comes when I have the line of sight between the sender and receiver, and the reflected path comes when there is no line of sight between them. So the signal has to traverse via buildings or the ground or any other obstacles, and it has to be reflected back to the receiver. So under that scenario, the communication happening here is a multipath propagation. Because of the multipath propagation, the receiver is receiving the multiple signals which are traversed to the different paths. They will be having different phases. So in this particular case, the strength of the signal may vary. So the receiver may be confused in terms of to identify or to recognize the exact signal from the sender. So all these three parameters, that is attenuation, interference and multipath propagation, are accounting for an erroneous communication in this case. Means the signal is not conveyed in the same way it was sent. So error detection and error corrections are one of the serious issues when it comes to the wireless environment or wireless network environment. So in order to measure the level of error, a parameter which is referred as signal to noise ratio is considered, which is a measure of the signal power to the noise power in any of the signal that is received. So which is later then used for the error correction as well as the retransmission of the signals in wireless networks. So as the term itself says, the signal to noise ratio is nothing but the ratio of signal power to the noise power. If SNR is high, that means the signal is stronger than the noise signal. So thus I can accept that particular portion of the signal. If the signal to noise ratio is low, in that particular case, the signal is severely corrupted by the noise. Thus, I cannot consider that particular data, or it is not possible to recover the data. If SNR is high, that means the signal portion is high. That means it is possible to convert the signal into the actual data. So these are the characteristics which poses a greater challenge in wireless environment compared to the wired. So coming to the prime aspect or the prime characteristics of wireless local area network in terms of access control. When we considered wired local area networks, we had a dedicated channel, whether it is a point-to-point link or the multi-point or the broadcast scenario we considered. So there we made use of carrier sense multiple access with the collision detection algorithm for the standard Ethernet. So in that particular algorithm, if you remember, each station has to compete among others to gain the access to the medium, and it has to start sending the frame. At the same time, it has to start sending the frame when it finds the medium idle, and at the same time it has to monitor whether the collision has detected or collision has occurred. Once the collision is detected, the transmission has to be aborted and the frame has to be resent again. So thus CSMA is serving two different purposes. CSMA is serving two different purposes. One is, if a collision is detected, that means the frame is not correctly received, thus there is a need for retransmission. If the collision is not detected, that is a virtual intimation that the frame has been correctly received and there is no need for the retransmission. So when it comes to the wireless medium, the CSMA bar CD algorithm does not work in wireless LAN because of the three different reasons. The first reason is, as we considered the working of CSMA bar CD, the station will send a frame, that is one side communication, and it has to receive the signal back from the medium in order to monitor in order to detect the collision. Thus you need to have a duplex link. But when it comes to wireless LAN, there is no possibility of having a duplex link in this case, since we are dealing with a broadcast medium. Thus, CSMA bar CD is not apt for the wireless LANs. Second is the hidden station problem. Uh, Let us consider an example to illustrate what exactly is hidden station problem. So we have three stations, that is the station B and station C and station A, which are operating in the wireless mode. So this oval shape here indicates the transmission range of stations. So this particular oval shape is indicating the transmission range of station B, and this particular station is indicating the transmission range of station C. As we can clearly see, B can hear from A since A is in the transmission range of B, and at the same time C can send or receive from station A as it is in the transmission range of A. But the problem occurs when station B wants to communicate to A, at the same time C wants to communicate to A. Here it is not possible to detect the collision. Why? We'll consider this now. As let us consider B senses a medium to communicate to A, and it finds the medium idle and it starts sending the data to the station A. Under this scenario, as C cannot hear B, as C is not in the transmission range of B, C also finds the medium idle when it starts communicating A. So it also will start sending a frame. On that note, the collision occurs at the station A. So here the station C is hidden from A. This problem is called as hidden station. At the same time, station B is hidden from station C. So in that note, if we implement CSMA bar CD, the collision will not be detected. And the second scenario is when, so this is how the collision is occurring. The second situation is when I have once again the three stations. There is an obstacle between the two communicating stations. So on that note, here B cannot hear from station C, as in between there is a obstacle. At the same time, C cannot listen or cannot receive any information from station B. So on that note also, when station B is sending and station C is sending to the visible station A, on that note here also the collision will occur. So to overcome this particular problems in wireless LAN, a specific algorithm, the medium access control algorithm that is proposed, that is carrier sense multiple access. So that is about this particular video. So the in this particular video series, we had considered the basic characteristics and the background introduction to the wireless LAN. So in the coming video lectures, we will consider the concepts from IEEE 802.11 project, which is an wireless LAN. In that, we will consider the architecture of IEEE 802.11, the MAC sublayer changes that is incorporated, and the physical layer changes that is incorporated. Thank you.